So the 1980s was a very turbulent time for Doctor Who. Not only for Doctor Who itself, but for basically a lot of people during the 80s. But that's not what I'm going to get into. Doctor Who was going through a turbulent time in the 80s. The ratings were going down and times were very certainly changing for the show. And one notable change in the show itself was the Doctor. Now, the Sixth Doctor, played by Colin Baker, is regarded by many fans of the show as one of the more unfavoured incarnations of the character, mainly due to his violent nature that he showed during his era. And I can agree with that. The Sixth Doctor, I think, was certainly a bit more edgy than other incarnations like the Ninth and 10th Doctors, but that's not what I'm going to get into. The quote, I'm trying to ask a question. Why exactly was the Sixth Doctor so violent? So the first part of this idea comes from the idea of the Fifth Doctor's regeneration, because during his time, the Fifth Doctor had chosen many times compassion over what can be said as quote-unquote murder, and it can be seen that the Fifth Doctor might have just been too nice when compared to the other incarnations, because in some stories, the Doctor may have indirectly caused certain parts of history. For example, the Fifth Doctor indirectly caused the Great Fire of London. And another question I want to ask is, why would the Doctor choose the face of Commander Maxwell? For those of you not too familiar with the classic years of Doctor Who, or just the classic era of Who in general, Commander Maxwell was a character also played by Colin Baker in the Fifth Doctor story, Arc of Infinity. And Commander Maxwell, to the best of my knowledge, was meant to make an appearance in the Five Doctors. There's a common misconception that he didn't appear because he'd already been cast as the new Doctor, but that was debunked because his appearance was dropped due to scheduling conflicts. So that's something that I wanted to just clear up. Anyway, moving back to Arc of Infinity, Colin Baker, who played Maxwell in the episode, often makes the joke that he is apparently the only Doctor to get the job by shooting the current Doctor of the time, which he actually did in that episode. So going back to the Doctor's regeneration, and the Doctor now resembles Commander Maxwell, so why would he choose to take on this appearance? Now, the Doctor has noted that he has resembled some appearance of Maxwell in some Big Finish stuff. I think it was a Big Finish short trip story, to at least the best of my own knowledge. But I think there's a theory that might explain why the Doctor was so violent during his sixth incarnation. One idea that, thanks again once more to the mind of Captain Jimi Pike, amazing YouTuber, he does some pretty good stuff on his channel. As far as I know, he's currently on hiatus right now, but he's still got some great content up on his channel. So, Jimmy came up with a very cool theory to explain why the Doctor looks a lot more like Commander Maxwell than many would expect. So, just a bit of context. In Series 9 of the new series, it's revealed that the Doctor subconsciously chose the face of Caecilius from the Fires of Pompeii to remind him that he can always save someone. It's not the first time Peter Capaldi appears as a different character in Doctor Who or the Expanded Universe. I'll probably be getting into his Torchwood character another day, but right now we'll focus on the Doctor. So, Jimmy put forward the idea that the Doctor may have chosen Commander Maxwell's face for similar reasons. The 12th Doctor had chosen the face of Caecilius to remind him that he could always save someone, and Jimmy put forward the idea that the Doctor may have done this for similar reasons when he regenerated into the 6th Doctor. So, as I mentioned earlier, the 5th Doctor during his era had chosen many times compassion over, once again, quote-unquote, murder, and one of these instances was the loss of Adric, one of his companions during the story Earthshock. In that story, Adric sacrificed himself to save the Doctor and his companions, and basically the entirety of planet Earth, because the ship that crashed was a Cybermen freighter, or sort of a Cyberman freighter, I think, and that ship was the cause of what wiped out the dinosaurs, so the Doctor wouldn't have been able to save Adric anyway. So the theory that Jimmy actually put forward was that during his regeneration, the Doctor subconsciously chose the face of Maxwell to remind him that he can't always be the good man, and that sometimes sacrifices need to be made. I, for one, really like this theory because it explains why the 6th Doctor was so cold to Perry and why he strangled her in the TARDIS, though some might probably see that as a side effect of the regeneration sickness that Doctors have displayed in a lot of post-regeneration stories, like the 11th Hour, for example, or the Christmas Invasion. So, another example of the Doctor being violent and him knowing that he can't always be the good man would be in Attack of the Cybermen, because the Cybermen were in a way directly responsible for the death of Adric. and the Doctor's willingness to slaughter the Cybermen in Attack of the Cybermen, he's in fact avenging the death of Adric and many other people who had been killed at the hands of the Cybermen. Maybe even a few companions got killed. I'm not too familiar with that part of Classic Who, so if any other companions got killed by Cybermen, please let me know. So that's sort of my answer to why the Sixth Doctor was so violent. If you want to see the full theory that Jimi put together, I will be including a link in the description below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, but also share it so we can keep growing. We are very much getting closer to 200 subs, at least at the time of recording. I don't know when this is going to go up. But be sure to turn on the bell so you don't miss any more of our videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.